Well, hey, good evening. Welcome back to my little gardening show. I got the tabletop tripod tonight. Wanted to take you guys along. A couple weeks ago, we're looking through the seed catalogs and trying to figure out what we were going to grow for this next year. Came up with a little list of things, and we ordered some seeds. So the first box arrived today from Johnny's. And so we're going to go ahead and open this up. The box is big because I got some bulk seeds from Johnny's. The rest of my orders coming in from Baker Creek. So let's go through and see what we got. Alright, so I get about 3.5 pounds of the Jade green beans. Really like these beans. The last 2 years we've had some trouble germinating them. Maybe I'm planting them too early, or I don't know, or maybe just the germination rate. Like they usually have a stat on here. Yeah, so it says 82. This was tested in November, 2 months ago, and 82% of their test sample germinated. So what that means is that 18% of these seeds are duds on average, assuming conditions are ideal. So that could be why, last 2 years, maybe I only had about, it seemed like a 50% germination rate. The 1 year was real bad. So that's why I ordered a good chunk, because then what tends to happen is they kind of slow start and then they take off. So really nice bean. I've got a couple YouTube videos on the green bean picking over the years. So if you're curious about these, you can check those out. Really nice. Got some disease resistance, stringless, and really prolific and easy to pick. We grew a variety this past fall that was not as easy to pick. The beans were kind of throughout the plant, whereas these are in clusters, like really easy to grab. The other thing I got from Johnny's is we like lettuce, so I got a 1/4 pound of Butter Crunch. I mean, that should last for the whole season. Really nice variety. It's got, it's just really nice lettuce. And of this lot, 98% of this seed tested in the testing I did, 98% germinated. So there, we got some really good seed here. Whoops. I haven't used this little tripod for a while. I think that's why it's a little loose. Let's see if we can get it to stay. Anyway, really nice. The other lettuce seed we got was, it's a romaine variety. It's called Paris Island. Real nice compact heads. Dad really liked this lettuce. The last time we grew it, we were, I did little heads in a tray and we planted them out, and he could go down for lunch, dinner, or whatever, and just cut himself a head, and perfect like serving for one. So he really enjoyed that. Again, I've got variety of seeds coming from Baker Creek. I bet they'll probably be here tomorrow because I got an email. Both of these ship the same day, and this, for whatever reason, arrived first. Probably because they've got a distribution center that's closer, or however the postal network worked. But should get the rest, and then maybe I'll make a video about that and show you guys those seeds. So what's been going on? I've got some new tech. Got this, it's a lithium battery from Anker, and I think it's like 26,000 milliamp hour, but pretty handy for live streaming like this, because typically the iPhone here will drain pretty quick. So hooking it up to this keeps things going. This is good for trips. Went out this past weekend with a group of guys and took this with me and was able to charge my phone, and it's still 3/4 of the way charging. I've charged my phone probably 3 times now, and I'm using it now. So Anker makes pretty good products. So it's really nice. Took a while to charge up initially. The other thing, my brother last spring, and I've talked to Tom about this over at the Frugal Prepper YouTube channel. Alexa, right? So my brother last spring gave us an Alexa, or a guess this is an Echo, and we kind of drug our feet and didn't really like the idea of, do we really need something like that in the house? Do we want to hook something up like that? The idea that you got a device that's listening for, constantly listening. It's got to be constantly listening, because it's listening for the wake word, which in this case is Alexa, but you can change it. And so the idea of having that in the home, and then just giving Amazon even more access to like who we are, preferences, things like that, conversation. I'm sure they're using that data to figure out how to market things, how to put stuff in front of us. I mean, who knows? I know they got all the legalese and privacy policies and stuff like that, but I don't know, I'm skeptical. So anyway, we kind of drug our feet. We've had this since the last time you visited, and I thought, well, what the heck? I mean, I don't have anything to hide, really. Let's go ahead and hook it up and see what it can do. So we hooked it up last night, and we're kind of playing around with it. And it is, it's pretty slick technology as far as being really intuitive. I think it's a lot better than it seemed like Siri or Google, as far as giving commands and like it understanding conversation and being able to do things. And it's simple stuff like one of them was you can create a grocery list. So we were kind of toying around with that. Like we just started talking to the speaker here and adding things to the grocery list, and it was showing up on my little phone app. That was pretty neat. Got it hooked up to our music, right? We got the whole family, we share a Apple Music subscription. Since we got iPhones, they're not like the newest iPhones, the iPhone 7. But we share that. We've got that tied into this thing. And there's a whole slew of other things that this little device is capable of. Once you got it hooked up and it's connected to your Wi-Fi, your network. If you've got Roku, it can control that, control the TV. You can get smart plugs and outlets. Like you could basically rewire your home and make it like a smart home where this thing could set schedules on stuff, control like an alarm system, surveillance system, call out reminders to you, all kinds of things. But probably my favorite feature of it so far is it got this kind of, it's almost like a walkie-talkie feature where I can drop in, like I can pull it up at work if I wanted to like freak out the kids or whatever, family here at home, pull up the app and then basically drop in and start talking, and they can interact with me through the speaker. So I thought that was kind of neat. There's a ton of other things. I mean, we're just now kind of getting used to it. Right now, I don't have it plugged in. We've got it unplugged. Initially, to set it up, it was a little bit, it was kind of interesting because it was still configured to my brother's Wi-Fi. So I had to reset that to clear it out. But it's pretty easy to set up. I know in the future they're talking about, you know, basically having things where Alexa is in everything, you know, as far as electronics and appliances and whatnot, or having it configured where you could have whatever home assistant you want to be in that. The other thing that's kind of cool about this is, like, you know, if you get questions about things, I mean, you think about just having information, access to information, and you know, if you have any question, you can, you know, most of it can either give you the answer or give you several answers or refer you to a source where you can do some more checking. It's just pretty amazing, really, kind of how far the technology's come in the last couple of years. So now we'll try it out and see. Kind of as Tom said, you know, you hook one of these things up, you're basically inviting the NSA in your home, because you know, if you ask the device whether they're sending your information to the NSA, it will basically, it won't answer the question directly. It'll refer you to their privacy policy, basically. So I don't know. But Tom's got a pretty sweet setup over at his house. He's a network engineer, so he's got his garage door rigged up on it, coffee maker rigged up on it. He's got smart plugs in his garage where he can interact with it. He's got a little Echo Dot, where if he's out of something, he can order it. It's, again, pretty neat technology there. So see how that goes. This weekend, my brother's coming into town. He's going to be hanging out for the weekend with us, and should be a lot of fun. Always look forward to his visits. And, you know, his time with us is more episodic, so to speak. Like, he's not here week in, week out. It's not like the rest of the family. It's more in like 3 months, 6 month stints. We're seeing him. What you think, honey?
He's coming tomorrow.
He is coming tomorrow. You're right.
You're gonna pick him up at sometime, and then you guys are gonna come home at like 11.
Yeah, that was unclear who's picking him up tomorrow from the airport. I'll have to talk to Mom about that.
You stay at her house, right?
Yeah, I believe so. So, should be fun. Looking forward to that. We still have that giant leaf pile over at the house. Honey, don't do that. You licking your teeth? You're still missing those two teeth, aren't you? Yeah. You got loose teeth?
Where? Which one is it?
Anyway, we still have the big leaf pile over at Dad's house, unless he's been working at it, and who knows. The weather's been kind of bad. Rainy, cloudy, cold, just not real good weather. He had a neighbor friend who's got a tractor with a loader on it and all this stuff, who attempted to do some stuff with the leaves, but it was too wet. He was just spinning out because the pile is so dense and heavy. You really need like either forks on the end of the tractor to kind of break the pile apart, or we're going to have to use pitchforks and tarps to break things apart, which is okay. So no, we may end up spending some time this weekend out at the garden, breaking that apart, and we need to do that at some point. Otherwise, the ground isn't going to benefit from having a cover. Because right now the cover is weeds on most of it, so we'll kind of see how that plays out. Oh, mercy. Everything I'm looking at, I found a site online that sells worm castings, and working on my potting mix formulation for later this winter when we start some seeds and things. I've got the Pro Mix, but it doesn't have any nutrient value in it. I mean, it's basically sterile. Well, it's not really sterile because it's got the mycorrhizal fungi built into it, supposedly activated by water or whatever. But what I want to do is get some worm castings because I've had a lot of luck with that, or success with that, and incorporate that with the Pro Mix. So let's put this back.
Did you get a new phone?
No, that's a battery, honey. It's a battery. Yeah.
I thought it looked like a phone.
Here, another thing we can talk about, addiction to media.
Dang!
Trying to wean my son off all the digital stuff. Here I am making a YouTube video. But get off the tablet. We've got a Kindle that they read on and stuff like that. Can read books, but they like to play games.
No,
And
this is not the same one.
for whatever reason, I don't know, when I was growing up and as a kid, and games were like, Atari and like 8-bit, 16-bit was a big deal, 32-bit, 64-bit, 128 I think it got up to, and then you didn't hear about bits anymore. It was, stats on systems and whatnot, and the graphics became just a lot better on that. But I don't ever remember being like, I guess like addicted to video games, where like if I didn't play them, I get mad and angry and irritable. But
Samuel does.
and like it would like show up my behavior, whatnot. And maybe it was the age at which I started playing. I mean, I probably didn't start playing video games till I was like 10.
I didn't start till I was like 7.
It's probably 10. So anyway, we've got a Nintendo Wii U.
You let me play on, but you just said I could play on that, but now
He's probably playing video games since he's 7. We play video games, Mario Brothers and all of that. But here, recently, it's been tablet, like mobile games and stuff like that. And they're different. They're highly addictive. Like when you get on there, they're designed to, and I've read, articles on this where game developers, they do research and they're trying to tap into like the most primal aspect of your brain, like the lowest part of your brainstem, because if they can tap into like your basic instincts and like and whatnot, it's a lot easier to get you addicted to their apps, to their games, to whatever it is. And that's part of what's happening. We're seeing that in with my son. So we've been cutting him back big time on all that stuff because
Actually, I don't want to play video games. I don't want to play them anymore. I don't know why. It's just like Netflix just died, and I was like, I don't want to play it anymore. Really
I mean, it's okay to play video. I'm not saying video games are wrong and it's anything like that. I mean, they are fun, and there's a time and place for them. But when it becomes your master passion, where that's all you want to do, and if you can't do it, it
Gets you violent.
it changes your behavior towards others. Like you have no self control. Then there's a problem there. I think a lot of it is with these tablet games, especially again that are designed to tap into like the pleasure centers of the brain, like quick reward and whatnot. It makes it very difficult, especially for kids, to really show any kind of restraint. And I think what's sad anymore too is you go to restaurants, that not that we don't go out to eat a whole lot, but when we do anymore, you see kids with a handheld device playing a game, tablet, phone, whatever it is. Like they can't even like spend time with their family and interact like in the context of family, like. And what's sad too is like the parents don't have any time for them. Like it's kind of like a babysitter for them, a pacifier. And so then the child doesn't even really interact with the family, like in that context. They're not learning any kind of social skills, how to interact or talk or whatnot. They're just kind of passively listening at best. For the most part, they're just zoned into that device, and that's all they're doing. And so anyway, that's something we're kind of walking through right now. Again, setting some limits on that, just outright banning it, because we see kind of what's happening, and we don't want long term. We don't want that to be an issue, but it's a challenge. Anymore, I mean, technology is going to become, in games and all of that, it's going to be more and more intrusive and more difficult to, I don't know, things are just going to be different. I'm sure we'll figure out a way to adjust and whatnot. But so anyway, that's some of the things that are going on right now. Trying to think if there's anything else happening. That's really about it right now. So, anywho, guess that's it for now. I'm gonna spend some time with the kiddos. Kind of winding down things for tonight, 'cause my brother's coming in tomorrow evening, and so we got some things to do to get the house ready and all that good stuff. So until next time, happy gardening. Bye.